This week we're going to highlight planting pace of soybeans here in the U.S. as well as short-term weather trends. Then we're going to turn our attention to a very weak export market for U.S. soybeans and wrap things up with a long-term view of November soybean futures. Hi, this is Brian Basting with Advanced Trading. Let's talk about the soybean market. We've moved into the month of May here, and of course that means it's time to plant beans. Let's take a look at nationwide progress at the end of April. Now at the end of April here, we saw a very brisk pace, 18% planted nationwide. Notice the 5-year average is only 10%. We are seeing some regional differences, however. Notice in the West, far above average. For example, Minnesota, 14% done versus the 5% average. Same trend evident in Iowa. In East, not quite as far along, looking at 8% in Indiana compared to 9% on average, a bit wetter in the East. Let's now turn our attention to the historical soybean planted pace. Again, this chart shows that we're looking at 18% done. That's the fastest pace of the last several years. We're looking ahead now to highlight on average over the next 2 weeks, approximately 24% of the beans are planted between April 28th and May 12th. If that pace were to continue this year, we'd be looking at the planting pace as of the 12th around 40 to 45%. So we'll see what the weather trends look like going forward. Speaking of weather, let's take a look at those short-term trends. Our slides this week, as usual, are courtesy of T-Storm Weather. We're starting out here looking at the next past 30 days, beg your pardon, as a proxy for subsoil moisture. You can see it's been quite dry in Kansas. However, as you move further north and further east, a lot of green on that map showing that we're looking at excessively wet conditions or slightly wet conditions in most states. The exception is Iowa in the west, and Michigan has been close to normal in the east. Let's take a look at the short-term forecast. We're looking at the next 10 to 14 days here, looking at temperatures. Up there in the northwest, it's cool. As you move further south and further east, it's going to be warm. So that divergence in temperatures could fuel some stormy weather. Let's get highlighted here and look at through Friday of this week. We're looking at all that pink area could be another inch of rain, and the surrounding green areas could be a ½ inch. And one exception as you move further east here is that eastern corn belt, which could be drier and allowing more planting in that region. Let's now look ahead to Saturday through next Wednesday. All that green area highlighted here is looking at ½ inch at least to start out with. So we do have the potential for some wet conditions the next couple weeks. Let's quantify that now looking at precip totals over those next 2 weeks. You can see there's quite a bit of green on this map here. Most of that is slightly wet. Kansas is actually close to normal. There's one exception I want to highlight though, up in the northern plains, northwest corn belt. You can see across North Dakota, which is a large soybean producing state, it could be excessively wet up in that state, and parts of Minnesota could be quite wet too. Let's now turn attention to soybean export trends. As you look at the unshipped book of soybean export sales here, it's at a 10-year low. And what we're going to highlight now is that Brazil has taken over the export market. Therefore, the ATI annual export forecast is 1.675 billion bushels. That's 25 million bushels lower compared to the USDA at 1.7 billion bushels. Let's wrap things up this week looking at trends in November soybean futures. And November beans, as we tape here on Tuesday, have dropped down to near $11.50 a bushel. That's not too far off of where that crop insurance price was back in February. We continue to strongly encourage you to work closely with your trusted risk management advisor to manage price movement going into the spring and summer months. Now, if you'd like more information, please feel free to contact us at 800-664-2321. We'll put you in contact with our risk management consultants who'll be happy to visit with you at your convenience. And remember, we upload every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss an upload. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.